Blue Boy, Remember Me was released in 1997. It peaked at number 8 in the UK charts. Let's go. Blue Boy, aka Alex Blackmore, is a Scottish DJ and producer who toured with the British rave group The Shaman. The track initially appeared on Mark Farina's Mushroom Jazz Mixtape Volume 1 in 1996. Jive Records got hold of the track and had producers Sure Is Pure do a radio edit of the track, and then it was ready for world domination. We can't do this episode without asking for your biggest earworm tunes. What gets stuck in your head for days and you find yourself singing it weeks or days later and you don't know where it's come from? Stick them in the comments below. I want the tunes that really get stuck in your brains. Put them in the comments below. I'll check them all out, and if there's any that have got samples in them, we'll do a future episode. If you love the show and you want more of our chat, then support the show on Patreon. Link in the show notes below. Dan, tell the people what they'll get when they sign up.
A complimentary Shiwi, so you can be like my 4-year-old daughter Etta.
Tell you what you get. You get access to the hour-long uncut episodes a whole week before the shorter YouTube edit is released. Yeah. You get extended versions of our mini episodes, podcast exclusive made for Patreon episodes, and loads more.
Loads more. Sign up.
Hit me.
Stop being a dick. Sorry. This gin's really strong.
I'm Felix Leiter, international DJ and producer.
My name's Dan Nightingale from the Have a Word podcast.
And together we're going to explore the samples that feature in tracks you love in a show that we like to call
Show Me the Sample.
First up, mate, I'm just going to cover off a couple of drum samples. I'm not even going to play them this week, but it's just worth noting for anyone who wants to go and check them out. Alex took drums from and loops and hits from Kool and the Gang's 1971 track NT and Skull Snap's 1973 track It's a New Day. But to be honest, I listened to them. They weren't going to blow your mind, and there'd been quite a lot of work done with them. So if you're a real nerd, go and check those out. I'll link them below. If not, follow us now. We're going to check out the main vocal sample. Marlena Shaw is an American jazz, blues and soul singer born in the state of New York in 1942. She worked her way up through the scene the hard way, eventually getting a break in the jazz clubs of Chicago, where she was signed by Chess Records. She recorded a version of Ashford and Simpson's California Soul that became a hit on the UK rare groove scene. It went on to be sampled by numerous artists, including people like The Game, DJ Shadow, and Cut Chemist. But mate, it was the opening track on her second and final album on Chess Records subsidiary Cadet that caught the ear of Blue Boy's Alex Blackmore. Women of the Ghetto allows Marlena to sing about what she knows. She expresses her concerns about domestic issues, feeding children in poverty, and the rats infesting the ghetto homes they lived in. If you, mate, were to write a heartfelt ballad expressing your personal struggle of owning a property in the leafy outskirts of Chester. What subjects do you think you might cover in your song?
You have set me up to look the absolute twat that I am. I hate this stuff because Sorgel's not posh. It's not that posh. But when Adam and Carl talk about me, it's literally like I live in a castle on a hill in Cheshire. It's so annoying.
What made the track so sample for Blue Boy was Marlena drawing on her jazz singing background and employing a technique called scat singing on this live recording that we're about to listen to. In case you don't know what scat singing is, because I didn't, scat singing is basically improvisation, creating sounds that's not always necessarily words over the backing track. So she's just basically freestyling using her vocal cords as an instrument. Let's take a listen. We've got a 2-minute clip here. We've got about the first minute and 40 is just kind of how it starts. And then I've cut off to hear an extra little bit. So you're going to hear some of the main samples as we go through that you'll remember from Blue Boy Remember Me. And at the end, that really famous bit that sounds like she's singing about gingers, that's the kind of scat singing. So let's take a listen.
I want you to get together. Put your hands together one time.
Oh my God.
And help me pray for one sinner from the ghetto. Oh Lord, we call him Harold Jones and he plays drums. Would you do it for him one time? Yeah, 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 yeah. They appreciate you, Harold Jones. And playing bass, Lord. You know that he's a sinner. I saw his stash, oh Lord, 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 would you please put a blessing on Brother Ed Boy.
He does
we
all
appreciate you too.
It's a Felix late.
Hit that note again, let me see if that's still right.
Mate, Marlena's got soul.
Lord, from the ghetto, from a $100,000 house tag ghetto. Lord, you don't need to bless him no more. Please get together for Mr. George Gaffney. Yeah, 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 yeah. Gang 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 Remember me, I'm the one who had your babies.
Mate, Felix, can I be a ball bag and can we just play it from the start again? Is that possible? Just the first 15 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, first 15 seconds, let's go.
I want you to get together. Put your hands together
mate, I would love
and
to be able to pull out
for one sinner from the ghetto.
Oh,
Lord,
I want you to get together.
We call him Harold Jones.
Amazing, mate. I just needed to hear that again.
Before I get your opinion on this week's samples, mate, if you're watching this and you want more, then help us out. Support the show on Patreon. We produce an hour-long show every week where we interact with the Patreons. We watch extra clips. We tell loads more stories. Basically, give you a much better experience. You can listen to it as a podcast if you want on the go. Subscribe and join in and get behind the scenes of all the stuff that's going on. Now, mate, give me your rundown on what you think of the story of Blue Boy Remember Me. What do you think of that vocal sample from Marlena? Hit us from everything you thought, go all the way back to 97 and bring it to the present day for Show Me the Sample.
It's one of those tunes I don't think I've thought about. I can't remember the last time I heard it or thought about it. It's a great tune. And I don't know if I knew a lot about Marlena Shaw But when you just played that 2 minutes, and I love it when you let certain things play out. Like when we watched that Barry White, that stuck with me, that 1970, we bought you an album with a song. How much would you love to have been there? Was that in Chicago that was recorded?
Not sure where it was. It was a live record. I'm not sure where it was.
But you said she had like a lot of success in Chicago or whatever. But
yeah,
there are just some sort, like, never been my bag that, but you'd fucking love to see that live. So maybe it's not the most technical sampling. Maybe it's not the most sort of like clever sampling. But I think it's a very cool track from 97 that probably doesn't get the appreciation it deserves, with a really cool sample point, origin point. So, mate, I've really enjoyed that episode. That's some cool shit.
It lives on in my world a bit more because it is, with every passing subgenre and slight change in drums, it is constantly remixed and re-released. There's been David Penn edits, have been Frankie Vazzaro edits. So like constantly in my world, every now and again, every 2 or 3 or 4 years, you get a new edit which fits in with all the drums of all the records that you're playing right now, that is basically a remix of Blue Boy Remember Me. So that's why it's maybe a little bit more fresh in not my mind than it is yours. Not because you've forgotten it, but it's that track probably isn't played on radio all that often, but in clubs you're always getting an edit of it, a remix of it, because it's just that ging 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 ging. It's just such a hooky little piece of vocal. And she's, again, like we've talked about, these powerful American black female singers, they've just got something about their vocal cords and the frequencies that they hit which just fill you with joy and fill you with power, and they really lift you up. So her vocals have been sampled so many times, and you're picking out little bits there of like maybe Cut Chemist or DJ Shadow, and they've been sampled so many times. But yeah, been a really fun one, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and we'll be back again soon, man. So he's been Dan Nightingale.
He's been Felix Leiter.
See ya.